What's going on, everybody? This is Randall Barnes, the founder of HBCU Post and the host of HBCU Post Radio, in the building for another special edition of the show today, where football is back. We're back talking football. This offseason, I agree with what a lot of people were saying. It's been a very long offseason. It's been a long year, a lot of different stuff going on, but I can't do football without Arielle being in the building. Arielle, how you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. We really need to calculate this, how long it really has been since football. Cause I feel like I've been rotting. There's spider webs all over. We haven't seen football, haven't heard football, haven't even looked at football. It sounds like an addiction, but what is there else really to watch? I know for Randall, it's probably, basketball or watching anything else. But for us football people, for us loyal football fans, when football season is over, we don't have anything to do at all.
And let me, because I did the math. Okay, so it's been 8 months since the Celebration Bowl. It's been 4 months since our last show, which was in April. So yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. So I can see the college football layover and how people are like, let's get back to it. We got a lot of stuff going on. Michael Vick, DeSean Jackson in HBCU football. That's crazy. But we're going to get to that a little bit later. Let's talk about the first HBCU football game of the season, the MEAC SWAC Challenge, Southern University versus North Carolina Central. Southern University, of course, they made it to the SWAC championship last year. Sort of shocked me, if you recall, Arielle, sort of shocked me because I didn't really see it for Southern right off. But Terrence Graves did an amazing job. They have a lot of great players. And then we have North Carolina Central, that they were right there. But that Chennis was able to make it happen, and they led South Carolina State to the Celebration Bowl. So now we have the two runners-up in both conferences facing off against each other. So, Arielle, what you thinking? Who you think gonna win? What you thinking?
And it's kind of funny, both of these teams having something to prove. One losing against a team that just got a new coach, and Chennis just blowing North Carolina Central out of the water, And then you have Southern University, who just came out of nowhere last year, almost so close to that championship game until Jackson State just came back, and ultimately Jackson State winning it all. And Chennis I know, is out for blood, but let's get back into it. Central, I love them, even though, as you can see, is North Carolina A&T all day and every day. But Central has something to prove, and I really think that they're going to win. Now, I don't know if they will dominate just because of what we're looking at and what we are seeing in Walker Harris. They finished last year with an 8-3 record, a rough start because of their bigger opponents. We know that playing against the University of North Carolina last year, one of the games were just it wasn't the best, but as they picked up during the season, they proved to be dominant, of course, losing to South Carolina and coming in second in the MEAC. And what's funny is a poll just released from the MEAC in the preseason, and they think they're going to be second again, thinking that Chennis is probably going to have another comeback. But what we can see now, that Walker Harris is a more profound, a more standing still in his quarterbackness, if that's even a word. He looks more precise. He looks more controlled. He's not this weak freshman that we know anymore. This man is ready to prove that he is going to lead his team, and the 8 all-time returning MEAC honorees that he has on his team. Not just him, but all these coming from defensive linemen who we saw last year, that a lot of that defense was struggling, especially playing against Chennis, especially playing against other teams. So really seeing how they felt well against Southern, I'm very, very, very interested. And plus, we have tons of weapons. Some of them making return. We have Quentin McCoy coming back, and then we have DeSean Crosby. Those two nice wide receiver weapons that we're seeing. And then also we have Mosley coming back as their running back. So not much has changed for them if we're thinking offensively. But defensively, I think this is where Southern will kind of get to them. Southern having big wins last year in overtime against Bethune-Cookman. We remember that game that we didn't think was going to be like that, and dominating the Bayou Classic against Grambling. Both of those teams proving that stature in Southern, as we can see. Now, the only thing that we're still trying to figure out is who is going to be that starting quarterback. We have no idea, because you have Cameron record the JSU transfer after losing to them last year, trying to get back to that Celebration Bowl. And then you also have Jalen Woods, who has been there played to the last of the season. I don't know if you remember, but they had that big quarterback switch up, switching through quarterbacks, 4 different quarterbacks through the end of that season. Jalen Woods playing those 3 games, going undefeated in those 3 games, actually winning. So whether they choose to go with the opponent that beat them from Jackson State, going with their quarterback transfer, or going with Jalen Woods, will really determine how they win the game. But I think the Achilles heel that is going to be for North Carolina Central is going to be their defense, something that Chennis knew that they can beat them on, something that has been a little rough over this season. But I think overall, Trey Oliver is definitely going to figure that out, definitely going to take those key points from last year and use them in this year. And we also have to note that Central is 4-1 under Trey Oliver in season openers. So it's not likely that they're going to lose. Now, like I said, will they dominate? No. But I do believe Central is going to come out victorious. And I think, to me, this is going to be a great game, something that we can see them warm up to. I know we're not going to see all the players out there just because we want to save some of them and not get hurt. But I really do think this is a chance for Central to go out and win and put in their position that, hey, even though Chennis is in the MEAC, he does not run the MEAC yet. This is something that Trey Oliver actually needs so that way he can set the tone for this season.
Well, I want to say two things before I start. Number one, if quarterbacky is a word, quarterbackness is a word, okay? As a Lamar Jackson fan, I'll never forget that. Oh, he's not quarterbacky. All right, 2-time MVP. Anyway, okay, so quarterbackness is a word. But also, I think Chennis does run the MEAC. I honestly do believe that. Yes, I got love for Trey Oliver. I love North Carolina Central, but what Chennis is building, I think is something special over there. But I think we can both reasonably agree, right? So we both agree North Carolina Central is going to win.
Yeah, we can reasonably and factually, to me, that's a probability. It's possible, and it could be confirmed that Central is winning tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that they're going to win. Like I don't like. I don't like it's hard to even like really, quantify, because I didn't believe in Southern much last year. And I want to just say this because, it's been 8 months. Okay. It's been 4 months, because people like they'll hear this prognostication, and they'll hear these points, and they're like, see, HBCU Pauls, they don't like Southern. Like, no, I love Southern. I love Southern a lot. Like, Southern is the only SWAC game I've been to when they beat Fort Valley back in 2017. I saw that they did the dance at halftime. Like, it was fire. Like, I had a lot of fun. So I have nothing but love for Southern. Every HBCU, we advocate for them. We love them. But from this football standpoint, I didn't see it last year. Now, they were winning games. They were narrow. The offense didn't really inspire me. The defense, Kelby Givens is the guy. And they had a couple other guys on that defense that I really liked. I think that the defense is going to be solid this year. And I think that Kelby Givens is going to be, of course, the MVP of that defense. And, of course, he's on the Buck Buchanan watch list. Like, we're going to see if he is really that defensive player of the year type of guy. But I want to see what that offense looks like. I mean, I know that being coy about the quarterback doesn't really mean anything, because we know that we've seen that consistently in these past few MEAC SWAC challenges. Yeah, you had Jackson State, that was the same way before they named Jason Brown. You had FAMU be the same way before they put in Daniel Richardson, and both of them did really good in their MEAC SWAC challenge. We're going to see what happens with Southern. I'm not that impressed with their offense. At least we know what we're going to get from Walker Harris, and I think that he's going to progress, and he's going to be really good in his role and where he is. I got to see what Southern's about. That offense wasn't really hitting on nothing last year. And I was shocked. Now, I know that I thought that Grambling would do better. I mean, I was definitely wrong about that. Like, I was proudly wrong, because I had no choice but to be proud to be wrong about how Grambling was last year. But, like, I think like Southern, their defense is going to be fire. But, like, the offense, that is what really scares me for folks that think that Southern's going to win. But I think reasonably, if we're being reasonable, if we're not looking from a fandom perspective, North Carolina Central should be the favorite,
And to a point you have right. I think what makes this a little bit more, I wouldn't say give them more than a 50% chance. I mean, like, if we're talking about winning the game for Central, I'm looking more of a 30% chance. And if we want to boost that up a little bit, I just think the quarterback situation right now, with having a transfer from Jackson State and having someone that's been on your team, it kind of boosts you up 5%. See, the argument here with that is Jackson State is turning out candidates that are dual threats. that know the game, that are intelligent. And I think that's something that Southern has been missing, intelligent offensive players. So when you look at Cameron and you're just sitting here, he has a great arm strength, knows how to command an offense, coming from a team that just won the Celebration Bowl. I think this might be the time that maybe you see what he has. And not to say anything about Jalen Woods, not saying that what you did last year, what you did during the spring game isn't honorable. It isn't something that we want to work with. But they're both going to play on Saturday during this MEAC SWAC Challenge. But to me, if I'm looking, and it might be a little cliche, if I'm looking for something that's going to set me up for the season and I'm looking for notes, I would prefer going with my Jackson State transfer than I would with Jalen Woods, and maybe keeping him during the official season as it gets underway, and maybe letting him play those games that I know from competitors that I know that maybe Cameron hasn't seen. But that's just one of the things that can help. I'm not saying that they're going to win, but it makes it a little bit more edging when you're thinking about who is going to be our quarterback and what we're playing against. And then, like you said, this is a defense that nobody saw coming, but something that's really good, and something that Central still has to find their footing in, because playing against Chennis, that's all he is defense. So Southern can play on that, and they could try to figure out who is going to start and how this offense is going to look. There's a 35% chance, but nonetheless, Central is winning on Saturday.
And, I'll say this too before we move on. The thing that sort of I don't like when it comes to being coy over the quarterback situation, especially after last year, is hopefully Southern doesn't do what Alabama State did with Andrew Body and Jonah O'Brien. We talked about that extensively last year.
Yeah.
Because clearly, and I know Andrew Body got injured in that game, but you could see on the field that Andrew Body was the guy as a runner, as a thrower. He was playing like tight end one time. He caught a pass from Jonah, which that didn't happen that often during that game against North Carolina Central. So I just feel like if you put two quarterbacks out, like, if you do, your different offensive drives, first quarter, maybe into the second quarter, if the game is close, especially, because I think it could be close, but if the game is close, pick one of them. Don't be like, oh, we're going to put him in this. This ain't basketball. I love basketball. You have 2 point guards in basketball. Right? In football, you got a backup quarterback. In this case, the quarterback get hurt or you're not doing good. You're not subbing out point guards, okay? Choose one. Choose one and then roll with it. We hope and pray you don't get injured, but don't do what Eddie Robinson did against North Carolina Central. It's the same opponent. It's the same opponent. Like, don't do that. That's all. I'm not rooting for. I'm just rooting for HBCU football tomorrow. Okay, don't do that, Southern. Okay, don't do that for your fans, for the folks that are rooting for you, for Aeneas Williams, for all the alumni. Don't do that. That's my advice. I know. Listen, I ain't play no football, but I watch it and cover it, and that was a horrible game plan that Eddie Robinson Jr. put up last year.
I have no remarks, because this literally is the same situation. The only difference is, though, I think with Southern, they have better backups than what Eddie Robinson did with Alabama State. I'm just saying, like, you got two guys that really know how to throw the ball. One's just been there with the team for a year longer than the one in the transfer. So I mean, he's in good hands, but let's not, flip around, because we're not trying to see all that. Just pick one, stick with one, pull one out when you need to, call it a day. We just listen on this one, Randall. I must say you have the answer. Sway does have the answers. Please do not be switching quarterbacks. Just stick to one. That causes too much inconsistency.
And listen, if they want to play basketball, we can play basketball. Oh, yes, we can. We can play basketball. You want to switch our point guards? Let's go. Like, you want to go Chauncey Billups for Jackson State alumnus, Lindsey Hunter in the 04 NBA Finals? Let's do it. Okay. But no, like, this is football. Avery Johnson's not coming out that locker room. Okay. This is football. All right. So pick one quarterback. Ultimately, you see how they do it and go from there. And please do not get that quarterback that you like. Don't get him hurt. Don't get him hurt, because, again, Andrew Body got injured. And the reason why he got injured, because they were treating him like a running back. Alabama State was last year against this same North Carolina Central defense that is always applying pressure. don't put your quarterback in harm's way like that. I know you're trying to win the game. This ain't no preseason game. This is a regular season college football game, even though we know ultimately it's not going to count towards the conference standings. This is a game you want to win. Your fan base wants to win. Don't put your quarterback in harm's way. I just that needs to be said, because what I saw last year was egregious, and it ruined a lot of my predictions. I thought Alabama State was going to be so good, and then all of a sudden Andrew Body goes down. I'm like, oh my gosh. But anyway, so now you have Southern, you have North Carolina Central. Both of them were second in their conference on last year, and you had the SWAC championship. Southern made the SWAC championship. They looked really good in that first half. They lost to Jackson State, who went on to have a historic run to the Celebration Bowl. And you have North Carolina Central, a great, probably game of the year, like game. And you remember, Arielle, that we picked, and you picked North Carolina Central. I picked South Carolina State. That's my favorite pick, by the way. That was my favorite one.
And to this day, I'm so mad about that game. I'm so pissed about that game. Because I lost last year. I think I lost when we tallied our records. I lost.
We were close. We were really close though. We were because we didn't diverge a lot on the games, because the games were pretty simple who's gonna win or not. And then we were wrong on a couple of them, because we were like, how did Southern win this game?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if Grambling would have won, if Southern would have lost to Jackson State, if Central, I promise you, I would have been that game. That game really threw me. That game threw me off. I was so pissed.
The game, I would say this before we move to the next topic. The game that threw me off was that State Fair Classic. What was it, State Fair Classic? The one that was like 4 overtimes. Yes. That was the one I was hot about. That one. I was hot because I was like, this is the one for Grambling. I was hot about that one. So hopefully we get some more games like that. But still, it was that I was hot about it by that one. But ultimately, let's talk about the outlook of North Carolina Central and Southern. Okay, so what do you think? Like who do you think needs this win more to kick off their season? Because I think that a win like this helps kick off the season, helps bring you good energy, and it gives you some confidence, in my opinion, that you can make it back to Atlanta, because they say start in Atlanta, you want to enter in Atlanta. So you want to make it back, and you want to make things happen in that way. But who do you think would need the win more, Southern or North Carolina Central?
Just for me. And I know this is going to be weird. I'm starting off the season really just on some weird stuff. I personally think Southern needs this more. I think for Southern, in more of a basic way, for Southern, they need this win more as a competitive purpose. Just seeing that this team is going to be one of the teams in the SWAC that, hey, we are not to be messed with. The same pressure that we applied last year accidentally. Let's not get confused that Southern wasn't that big body team last year. They had some, like you said, they had some really close games, but also they weren't a really structured team as well. They just were lucky in a lot of their games to win. But now you want to go from lucky to proven. And I think winning this game against a Central team that has a really good quarterback, that has all these honorees, that has a coach that knows what it is to win, that has beat some of the fantastic teams that we have in A&T, in Jackson State, in all these other schools, being a team like that, who is probably going to be your competition if you want to go back to Atlanta, is something big for them. It's something that, hey, we've established what we got wrong. Also changing in their coordinators. They have a new defensive coordinator. They're looking at all these other plays, and they can make this all work with all the changes that they've had over this summer. I think this could really, really be big for Southern in winning, and just set that mark on, we have won a game, and set them off on a domino effect that we can win. Now, that's just basic level. If Central wins this, it's not more of showing competitiveness. It's just showing that we're still in the MEAC. This is probably going to be just a horn call to Southern, not to Southern, to South Carolina, that, hey, y'all may have won our number last year. People are thinking we're still going to be second in the MEAC compared to y'all, but we're showing you that our defense is ready for you, that our coaching staff is ready for you, and we're finna go 5-1 in the season opener, thinking that we're going to go 4-2. Trey Oliver has something to prove morally, but I think competitively, and if a team needs a boost, Southern really needs to win this game.
I agree with you. I think that Southern needs to win this game, and a win for Southern would shock every HBCU fan that's not a Southern fan.
Yeah.
It would shock the system. This would be one of the biggest upsets of the year. Like, this would probably be a bigger upset if an HBCU beat, like if Grambling beat Ohio State. Like, I'd be more shocked at this outcome. Like, cause I'm like, like North Carolina Central should not lose this game. I just, for me, I know it's the start.
Mhm.
And I know it's the start of the season. I know there's rust that has to be shaken off. I know that sometimes these opening games, the offenses be a little bit crazy. The defenses, they miss some assignments, miss some tackles, different stuff like that. I understand that. But there is no reason, in my opinion, why North Carolina Central should lose this game. I want it to be close. You know, I like close games. I would love for it to be close. I mean, listen, don't have me looking out on my computer working while the game is on. It's 38-0. I'm like, let me write this article. You know what I mean? Like, let me get some work done. I'm on the clock right now for Clutch Sports. Let me get some work done. I don't want that. I want to be looking at the screen, writing an article after the game about how good the game was. That'll help me out too. I win either way. But like, my thing is like, I don't think Southern's going to win this game. I think Southern's a good team. Don't get me wrong. I think Southern's a good team. But we're talking about different tiers. I think North Carolina Central is on a different level. I think you have Jackson State that's on that level as far as the SWAC. But we're talking about South Carolina State, North Carolina Central. They're clearly behind them. If not, maybe they are on the same level. We have to see what the teams look like when they get on the field. But I'd have no reason to think that things would be any different from the SWAC championship. I think Southern will compete. I think Kelby Gibbons is going to go crazy. I think the defense is going to be really good. But there's nothing from me writing these articles and looking at the rosters and hearing all the prognostication and the interviews and all the different things, the quarterback situation. There is nothing that says to me that this game will go differently than it did against Jackson State. Just to me, just going into the game. Now, if it's a situation where Southern wins, I think Southern wins by a touchdown. They win by about a field goal. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, they're going to blow out North Carolina Central. I think that is totally off the board. Because I'm not, because when you get in the ring, Arielle, you got a puncher's chance. Okay, sports ain't predetermined. You know what I mean? Even though people swear it is, sports is not predetermined. Like, you get there, you line up, and you go out there, you win. Things happen like that. Mm-hmm. But I just think that based on the information that we have, I just believe that if Southern were to win, it'd be a huge upset. This would electrify their season. And I think that if they were to win this game, book your ticket to Atlanta for mid-December right now. All right, go on and get it before Christmas. Because Christmas, the money going crazy, you got tariffs and stuff. Listen, go on and get your ticket now, Southern, if you win this game. Okay, but if you don't, save your money because you're going to need it. Okay, save your money. The terrace is here, you're gonna need it, okay?
Hey, listen, the way my house is looking, the way that refrigerator is looking, the tariffs are definitely hitting. I need everybody to calm down. Calm down.
Yeah, listen, the tariffs are hitting harder than Kelby Gibbons ever will hit a player. I'll tell you that much. At this point, I'll tell you that. But we actually agree, Arielle. We agree on Southern. We agree on North Carolina Central. You see, we're in agreement. We're in agreement.
See, it always starts like that. And then you just start verging off. And I'm like, where are you going? Hold on. And then all of a sudden you end up winning. And this year I'm determined. I am determined to make these right picks, to make these right calls. I am having a winning mentality. I'm putting it into the atmosphere that this year I'm going to win. And this year, Central has to win all their games. I need all them games won. I need no upsets. I need no 4 overtimes. I need my predictions to be straight and accurate. I can't do what happened last season. Last season was too much. It was too much going on. I can't do it.
All right. Listen, I feel you. So let's go on and get to it then. So who do you think ultimately is going to become the MEAC champion and gain that berth in the Celebration Bowl?
And see, when I saw this question on our outline, I was like, I'm so tired of being in the MEAC because it's so challenging now. Like, I mean, with you handling the SWAC and literally having the 4 corners of the SWAC, north, south, east, and west, I'm just like, that it is a lot more with the MEAC and their 5 dwindling teams. But it's just the competition now. The the access and ability of the transfer portal and what's going on and teams really actually competing is scary out here. And I honestly, I'm so sorry. I'm at a loss. It's a toss up for me because I want to say with Central in all my heart. I really do. But South Carolina, they just showed a weakness that I don't think Central was really prepared for, and I don't know if they could actually outgrow just during the summer and just a whole year off. I don't know if that's something that you can actually take back. I've seen teams do it, but just coming that close to a championship, already being named second and being second last year, this is just something that I don't know they could really get over. And like we have KZ Adams back with South Carolina, and I'm really happy about that. We saw the weapon that he was, and Chennis Berry has a defense. He has to focus nothing else but his offense, and he's even upgraded one of his offensive coordinators to be one of the playmaker coaches on his team. So there are already switches and changes that he's already making with offense that he didn't have to necessarily focus on with defense, that he can just become more of a powerhouse than what he already was. So with Central and with Trey Oliver, it's more of a thing of, now that I have my offense set, like I said, the defense was really the Achilles heel of last year. That's just how they were beat. But when we're and their turnovers, the turnover on downs is something that really needs to be cleaned up this year for Central. Not necessarily if the interceptions from Walker Harris really weren't that bad, just shaking off, cold feet and everything and taking on that position after being named that quarterback. And then just trying those third down conversions, trying to command the field, something that they did not have when playing against South Carolina. So it's one of those things where we're just going to have to fix the little things because Chennis Berry likes to go after the little things. And I feel like he has had enough time having this amazing Cinderella season all the way into the Celebration Bowl, even though he lost. Going through this, knowing what it means to go into the championship, wanting to be a champion, they're on this route that Central was years ago. And with Central being there, I don't want them to take this for granted. I don't want them to be like, okay, we just need to do these little things. This is a competition that you guys have to win to maintain your honor. So it's so hard. I want to say Central. I really do. And just because I want to be proven wrong, I'm going to say South Carolina takes it again. I feel like they'll be the one going back to the Celebration Bowl just because I want to be proven wrong.
Okay. Listen,
reverse psychology.
Reverse psychology. Listen, I don't need reverse psychology. I just need a logical reason and a business reason. Just follow me here, okay? I think you might know where I'm about to go. I think South Carolina State is going to win the MEAC until proven otherwise. Because see, the thing that's so hard about doing this media thing and this, talking thing is people like to try your credibility when they don't agree with you. And I've seen this because I'm so heavy into politics, but I see it all around where like, you have an opinion and then they'll be like, oh, see, he don't know what he talking about because he picked this team and they didn't even make it close. Whereas like, it's predictions. Like I can't predict the future. If I could, there's some things I would have tried to predict, boy. I would have tried to predict a lot of things like friendships, politics, all that. I would have did some different things in my life if I could predict the future. So I can't predict the future, okay? So I'm going to go with the information that I have and relative to that information, what I saw last year, and then say South Carolina State. Like, yes, they lost some players. Yes, Eric Phoenix is gone. But it seems like Chennis Berry just has a way from Benedict to South Carolina State of finding the guys that fit the scheme that he wants and that are really gems in the plethora of players that they are. So until I see someone knock off South Carolina State, because currently we have to look at it like this, within the past 3 seasons, we look at 2023, 2024, all right, and I think 2022 as well. Look at these past 3 seasons. Chennis Berry has not lost a conference game. Think about it, from the SIAC with Benedict to South Carolina State, when we were told he's a Division II coach, he has Division II players, Division II, that's an easy win for us. When we both agreed, Arielle, some of these teams wouldn't have beat Chennis Berry's Benedict, okay? And guess what? I can reasonably deduce they wouldn't, because y'all didn't beat Chennis Berry's South Carolina State. with a lot of the same players. Eric Phoenix was on Benedict's team when they won the first SIC championship and went to the playoffs. Y'all still couldn't beat him. He was the HBCU Plus Player of the Year. So I have all the evidence to believe that South Carolina State is going to be that team. Now, North Carolina Central, I guess they can prove me wrong too. That's cool. I thought they were going to prove me wrong in that Halloween game. I was like, man, Arielle going to get her a point. All of a sudden I looked and I'm like, yeah, I was right. I was like, we did it, Chennis. 1-0.
Spooky last year. It was real spooky.
We went 1-0 on Halloween. Even though we celebrate Hollyween, we went 1-0 Hollyween. Okay.
Yo, Hollyween. We making up words today. Hollyween.
No, you ever heard of that, Hollyween?
No.
That's what. You ever heard that for real? They used to do that. Basically, Hollyween used to be the festivity they had at like the churches on Halloween, because Halloween is supposed to be spooky, spirits, all this different stuff. So you would celebrate Halloween. It's almost like a community thing too. You don't want people to go to people. You want kids to go to people's doors and get stuff that you don't know what it is. So you bring them to the church, and then they go around and they get the treats and stuff. You got some music, maybe a little bounce house. You know what I mean? Like y'all never did that.
I mean, we did that, but we ain't call that Hollyween. Like, that's some country.
No, Macon's not country. No. Macon's not country.
Macon's not country?
Macon's not country, no.
Macon's not country.
We're a city, Arielle, a city. We're an urban city. There's country parts, but we're an urban city. Yeah, urban city. Arielle, no. That's the Atlanta speaking. See, that's the Atlanta speaking. My gosh. I'm not, okay, you think I'm not country. I'm not country at all.
The Hollyween is trying your credibility, but it's fine.
I bet you Chennis Berry calls it Hollyween. How much would he call it Hollyween?
It's not for him. That game last year was scary. Wasn't that man wasn't trying to show no mercy.
I bet his post game was at the Hollyween party. I bet. Like he went straight to Hollyween with his family. I bet he did.
Chennis Berry has to be one of God's favorites. I know he has no favorites. Has to be, bro. Has to be.
Yeah. But I think that Hollyween aside, you should just think about it. They might have called it that you just having too much fun. You didn't realize it, okay? Like you had too much fun. It was Hollyween. Stole Halloween. He was like, well, it is Halloween. But I'm having too much fun. It's what it is. But like, so I think South Carolina State is the team I think is going to win the MEAC and go to the Celebration Bowl. But okay, I am a business person. All right. I'm a business person. Listen, I have business interest in this HBCU thing, as well as, of course, philanthropic, activist interest in HBCU life. But this is a business, right? We want people to listen to the radio show. I want to have articles to write and different stuff like that. So for my business interest, I want Norfolk State to win for business. Now I said logically it's South Carolina State, but for business, Delaware State, because we got better coverage of Delaware State. But for me, business wise, Norfolk State. I think that it's not that illogical because Michael Vick still has a lot of the guys from Dawson Odom's team. You know what I'm saying? So he still has a lot of those guys that we were talking about last year. You were covering last year. So I don't think it's irrational, but I just think that I don't think he's going to come in and be like Deion Sanders, but if he was, I think it's great for this show because you have a lot to cover. I think it'd be great for me. I have a lot to write about. I think a lot of people will start to get interested. We put up posts on HBC Post Instagram. Folks will start to like it and look at it more. I think if Michael Vick wins, it's good for the business. All right. Now, listen, I don't think Chennis Berry going to let him win. I don't think that Trey Oliver is just going to let him win. But I think that if Michael Vick were to be successful and they won the MEAC this year and then made it to the Celebration Bowl, that is like a dream scenario. And I want to say this last thing before I toss back to you, Arielle. I did not get a chance to fully participate in the Deion Sanders experience. We started our show at that time, but I wasn't working with Clutch Points. We weren't with Clutch Points at that time. And I need some numbers, okay? Michael Vick need to give me some numbers. Arielle, I need him to drive these people towards what we got going on and make us all happy.
So, What were your, so you had a business side and you had, what was your first side?
My first side was South Carolina State, the logical side. Like if you're saying, hey, like we want you to pick South Carolina State, easy.
Yeah.
But for business, what's good for business is Norfolk State winning the MEAC.
So what's your, see, I was just making sure that what I'm hearing is what I'm hearing. So logically, South Carolina State Bulldogs.
Yes.
Celebration Bowl revamp 2.0.
And they'll probably win it this year. Yeah.
Financially.
Yes.
No Central.
No. Well, I mean,
no Central, but Norfolk. Like, I just want you to know how out of your bag you just pulled. Like, nobody of rank, nobody that has been in the top 2 in the past 5 years. Delaware and Norfolk, nowhere.
Well, we gotta remember, this is for business. And if we want to be honest, I think that North Carolina Central is amazing for my business because Trey Oliver always gives me something to write about. Like Trey Oliver just casually on the stage with like Bill Belichick and other North Carolina coaches accused Virginia Tech of like tampering to get Jamari Taylor. Like I was happy as I don't know what. I almost started skipping. I got to start skipping when I saw that come across my timeline. So Trey Oliver is good for business too. Listen, that's great. But if Michael Vick starts to win, and he gets some upsets, like let's say he beats South Carolina State. Let's say he beats North Carolina Central. Let's say he beats Towson to start the season. We up. We back up. Okay, like we back in 2022. Like this is great. We got thousands of people watching our videos. They subscribing. They going to your website, Aria. I want like listen. We want to go up. Michael Vick, take us up. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I can 100% guarantee you. I can 100% guarantee you 2 things I know for certain. 2 things I know for certain. 1, he's definitely, if he had to be one of 2 teams, he's definitely not being Central. South Carolina, I'll allow a little leeway. I don't even think that's even possible. But out of those 2 teams, he's definitely not being Central. Number 2, Michael Vick, all respect to him, one of the best quarterbacks ever born, ever seen, ever lived. No doubt about that. Skill, amazing. Intelligence, through the roof. That man is not breaking top 2 this year. I can't even see that. No disrespect to him. And I can tell you why when we get to that segment, why he's not breaking top 2. But like I said, you pulled that out of your bag. But I like it. I love your enthusiasm. Keep that same energy. But
here's the thing, I might agree with you, okay? But I'm just saying for business, for my wallet, Fort Valley wallet, by the way, like this is good. It's a Fort Valley wallet for real. And I got my pocket degree in here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this be good for me. This be good for the pocket degree because it can validate what I'm paying student loans for. I'm paying student loans to be in media. Like it would help me out.
Randall, if this actually happens, I no longer want to do the show because obviously
you might want to do it if it does happen because we go up, Arielle.
I'm gonna go up for the same reasons why you went up for the Celebration Bowl last year. They're gonna drag me. They're gonna drag me.
No, they're not. Oh, they're gonna drag me. Oh, stop. They're gonna drag me. Like
Michael Vick, if you're listening, I love you. ATL down. We love you. We miss you. Everything. But like, just keep it basic this season. You're not Chennis Berry, not in a disrespectful way, but like,
I mean, he's not. I don't think he is.
I think he should keep it simple, like real simple. Just go out there and have fun, kind of simple. Let's go out there and see what we can do because it's not like he got handed a team like Jackson State. That's a completely different dynamic. Being handed a team from Deion Sanders that was handpicked, built up, with already a game plan for you to go and shoot through in the 2 years to go back to win the Celebration Bowl. And then you have Chennis Berry, who is just one of the greatest coaches that we have ever seen when it comes to recruiting and when it comes to practicing and actually knowing football, to come and do this in the 2 years that he has. Technically, this would be his second year, but in the 2 years that he has been here to do that, I don't see where that is possible. I can see at A&T kind of, I don't even know if I could see that, because even with their assistant coach to assistant coach to coach, those were back-to-back championships. So it just, we're going to start small. Man, I feel like I'm disrespecting that man, but I know I don't mean it like that. It's just, your pick is wild, and it's getting me out of my bag.
Well, my pick was South Carolina State, but I said for business, I think that Norfolk State, it'll be good. And I will say this as I transition into my SWAC pick, because I know Jackson State folks might watch this, because they were on me like crazy because I didn't say they dominated the Celebration Bowl.
They didn't, though.
But they weren't mad at you; they were mad at me. Okay, so basically, TC Taylor, when he got that team from Deion Sanders, he had to rebuild it because all the folks left. Okay, they left and went to Colorado, all of them places. He had to rebuild that team, and they had an amazing first season with TC Taylor, and the second season they won the Celebration Bowl. We see that, Jackson State. Don't attack us. Listen, don't. It's too much going on. We got to be unified. There's too much going on in this world. Okay, we got to be together. Okay, I think Jackson State should be who we look at as in the driver's seat. I think that just from getting Nate Rembert from Valley, and when you look at the fact that he was at Edward Waters, and I watched Division II football and I cover it, and you just look at what he did for Edward Waters in that season where they were beating a lot of good teams. I mean, they go and they beat Tuskegee, like they go and they beat Albany State. They go tit for tat with Miles. They go tit for tat with Fort Valley. A lot of the reason why was because of Nate Rembert. He then goes up to Mississippi Valley, and he goes there, and of course they have their struggles, but they go and knock off FAMU, who were, even though Willie Simmons left, they still had a lot of great players. They had Daniel Richardson. They had a lot of guys that were solid in quality, and you go to Bragg, and you break up that home winning streak that was held since 2018. The last person that beat FAMU at Bragg since 2018, since we were in school, was Buddy Pugh, a legendary coach. And then you go in there and you beat FAMU. Like, Nate Rembert was a huge part of that. And then he leaves Mississippi Valley, stays in Mississippi, and goes to Jackson State. Like, that's only one player. Because there's many more that transferred over, but that's an X factor for me. Because that offense is going to get even crazier with him lined up out there. So I just think that Jackson State is going to really be that team. I honestly really do. I think they make it back. I honestly really think that they're going to make it back. I have to be proven otherwise, because I don't know what FAMU is going to do. I'm not. I want to see what Eddie Robinson Jr. does with Alabama State now that we know that Andrew Biden's coming back. Hopefully he's healthy. So I think that Jackson State is going to be the team that's going to ultimately win and go to the Celebration Bowl. I hope they see this. All right, I really believe this, but I hope y'all see this, because I'm not no Jackson State hater. I love Jackson State, but I think a team to watch out for is Prairie View A&M with Tremaine Jackson. I think that they're a team to watch out for. If you want me to pick somebody else, was like, no, you can't. Jackson State too easy. I think Prairie View can make it. I think that Tremaine Jackson is going to shock a lot of people. I know that it might be a little bit harder for him to do what Chennis did, because there's 5 of the football playing teams in the MEAC. Of course, 6 overall, but South Carolina State plus 5 others. So all you gotta do is win 5 conference games. Now, yeah, Tremaine Jackson has to win more than that, plus those other out of conference games. But for them to have the number 1 recruiting class in the conference and have all the transfers that he got, and then the fact that Tremaine Jackson talking crazy, he talking to them folks in the SWAC crazy. He like, man, we're gonna come in, we're gonna dominate. We setting the trends for social media. All these different. No, I think Tremaine Jackson, he knows something. He knows something. And another thing too, I will say is that I gotta pull for the Division II guy, because we know Tremaine Jackson. He graduated from Texas Southern, so he is a Division I alumnus, right? Texas Southern. But he was down there at Valdosta State, and they made it all the way to the Division II championship last year. They lost to Ferris State. Ferris State beat Valdosta State with the previous coach a few years ago, back in 2021. But they made it all the way there. And you had Tremaine Jackson under immense pressure, had to rebuild that Valdosta State team because they have an expectation and a standard for championships. Like Vidal State, you start that program in 1980. And they win all these different national championships. They dominated in football. There's only been 3 HBCUs that's being Vidal State. And this is before Tremaine Jackson. But you have Fort Valley, you have Albany State, and you have Virginia Union with Jada Byers that beat Tremaine Jackson in his first year. They struggled. But you have that expectation of Vidal State. And in your final season, you leave after you led them to a championship and rebuilt that team, beat 2 HBCUs along the way in Sam Shay's Miles College. And then you beat Jada Byers and Virginia Union to make it to the Division II National Championship. I have no other reason to expect he'll be great in the SWAC. I think the SWAC West is weak. I'm sorry, it just, to me, I can be proven wrong. I can change my opinion with new evidence. But to me, the SWAC West is weak. I don't have a lot of faith in Grambling. I think Mickey Joseph is on shaky ground. I think Southern's going to be good. I got to see what Alcorn's going to do. I don't have that much faith in them. Like, I think that Prairie View can come in and make magic this year. So I think that's someone to watch out for.
And, to go back to your easy pick, yes, Jackson State is an easy pick, but it's not a wrong pick. They're just the team that is showing up right now. Do I hate to say that they'll probably return to the Celebration Bowl? Of course I hate to say it, but to me, it's not opinion. It's more of like, this is factually proven until the season starts and we see otherwise. So I don't think you're wrong with, Jackson State being there. Prairie View actually took me for a shock, but in not as a shock as like you're wrong, like how that Norfolk State pick was like a shock, but more just like we've seen so many head coaches come into new sectors this year, especially D2 coaches. And if we're looking at what Tremaine Jackson is doing, what Chennis Berry is doing, if we're looking at all these D2 coaches and what they're bringing from D2, because you are a D2 guy, you know what D2 is. These are really in the ground, running, structured, amazing teams and coaches that know the game of football. So I have nothing but respect for Prairie View if they do decide to take this out from underneath Jackson State. If this is the team that's going to do it, then this is it. I would say if we had, Alcorn has always been one of those really good teams, and we've seen them have championships, but we've seen them go through it, but they're just really shaky right now, and it sucks to see what's happening with FAMU and how undecisive everything is in this season. But I'm not seeing anything wrong with these picks. We're the MEAC is the MEAC, but I'm not seeing anything wrong with what you're saying here. And if this actually decides to flip and Prairie View takes it, I would be so excited for this season.
And I mean, what's crazy is that, I'm picking Jackson State overall, but this could be the SWAC championship because I think that Prairie View is going to make some noise. I'd be shocked if Prairie View like really struggles this year. They could. I'm not saying that they won't. I'd just be shocked because when you find success at a school such as Valdosta State, and I'll be honest, as a Black man at Valdosta State, in that football profession, and there was a lot of support for him, and he was able to make it happen and turn it around when a lot of those folks at Valdosta State were like, man, he need to go. Like, what's going on when it wasn't going right? Or when they weren't making it far in the D2 playoffs and they weren't making it to the championship. I just think it says something. And I want for this year, for Sam Shea, for Tremaine Jackson, I want them transitioning from Division II powers, because Miles College has been a power in recent years. We have Benedict that Chennisberry turned into a power, and you have Valdosta State that has been a power since the 1980s, and Tremaine Jackson was the latest person to lead them to that championship. I want for once and for all the folks stop playing with Division II football. That has to end in 2025. Because if Tremaine Jackson actually is successful, and let's say he does see that SWAC championship against Jackson State, win or lose, they got to stop playing with Division II football at some point, because to be honest, that might be where your next coach comes from. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sean Gibbs too. You know what I mean? That might be where your next coach come from. So I just saying. So let's talk before we go about Michael Vick and DeSean Jackson. So if you're just joining us, HBC Pulse Radio, Randall Barnes, Arielle Kilgore in the building. So we're recording this before the season starts, before the MEAC SWAC Challenge. So for people that might hear this later, we don't know if the wheels fell off, okay? we don't know if Michael Vick and DeSean Jackson, it just is not working out. But I tell you what, I'm praying for it. Okay, I'm praying for them to do well. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, if they win, we all win. Because if they win, I know there's a lot of people on Sirius XM right now that are listening to us because they winning. All right, but Arielle, you have the honor of covering the MEAC this year, and I'm almost jealous because it's like you get Michael Vick and DeSean Jackson. I didn't really even get Deion for it because Deion dipped so quick, so I didn't get a chance to really even get Deion this way. You get Michael Vick and DeSean Jackson. And do I want to say this? I'll say this just so I can say I predicted it. I feel like Ray Lewis gonna come one day too. I have no source to prove that, but I think Ray Lewis gonna come one day too. But yeah, I just want to put this on record. I think that Ray. I have no sourcing. I don't talk to nobody but Arielle at this point, okay? Because no one calls my phone or texts me. But I just think that Ray Lewis is going to be in the MEAC some point in time in the future. But Arielle, we're going to talk about the folks that's here. All right. So what do you think? Who do you think will have a better season, Michael Vick or DeSean Jackson?
You know what? What I really hate that it's been quiet on both ends, and the way that their spring games actually started with not playing actual opponents, but playing each other and really trying to figure out what this roster is going to look like and what their strengths and weaknesses are. We don't have much to go on. Starting with Michael Vick and where he where he's at right now. This is just Norfolk State don't even know what's going on. But we can say that we might have a quarterback in Carter. Carter played a lot of his games, also showing off his number 7 jersey, just the same one that Michael Vick wore when he was in Atlanta, A-Town down. We love him here, despite all that had happened, and what he wore at Virginia Tech. We know that he favors us. We favor him. We know that he is not supposedly the dual threat quarterback that Michael Vick was or what he is looking for. But when I tell you that man's arm, when I tell you he is spot on, when I tell you he knows how to hit a target, Carter has a really, really good chance of being that quarterback for Michael Vick. But it's like I said, it's not much chatter, just trying to see how he could turn this 4-8 team into maybe like winning 5 games, maybe winning 6 games at the most. But there are a lot of things that he has to work on. He has to work on turnover situation in downs, but also in interceptions, also in trying to make sure that this pass rush is great, trying to get a great offense, because we know Michael Vick for being an offensive guy. So when it comes to these things, I personally think, before we move on to DeSean Jackson, that Michael Vick may have a better season in Norfolk. Just being where he is and being the coach and all the support that has come from him and all the connections that he has, this is something that I think will be really good for him and something that he can turn around. Like I said, maybe winning those 5 to 6 games. But I don't see as much hesitation as I do see with DeSean Jackson and Delaware State. It's just looking a little scary. I just knowing who he is, this big defensive guy, and I think that's something that they're really going to try to work on. But the groundwork to me at Delaware State goes much deeper than that, much deeper than the coaching, much deeper than the players. I think he has a harder time struggling. I think he did have a harder time struggling trying to be in that recruitment process and really getting people to come in Delaware State, because Delaware State doesn't have that background that Norfolk State has. Seeing some of those championship years, it's been a minute for Delaware since they've been on top, or since they had a class that's really dominated in the MEAC at all. So when it comes to his recruitment, that was a little shaky this year, but I think he found some guys that are willing to turn this program around. I think he found the guys in his coaching program that are really willing to help them square up. I would say and we had this talk when we first did all these head coaching changes, who would be better coaches if we're thinking offensive players or defensive players. I'm still leaning towards Michael Vick because I think offense wins games. I know defense can get turnovers. I know they can stop the ball. I know they can do great things when it comes to managing the field and managing that clock. But just being a defensive guy, I don't know if DeSean Jackson, and I think it would be harder with him coaching, just really seeing what he can do offensively and how his offensive is supposed to work. But like I said, it's been really quiet on both sides. I'm just ready for the season to go off. And if there's any changes, I would love to report on them. But right now, they've been hush-hush and quiet on all that's going on, especially Delaware State. But I don't think either of these coaches are going to have a hard time. It's going to be difficult. This is their first year. This is their rookie season, if you want to say. This is their first time coaching. These are players that have never been coaches before. But I think they can do it, and I'm glad they're in this space, and I'm glad that HBCUs are getting this notoriety. But all in all, I would say Michael Vick probably will have the better season, but I think DeSean Jackson is still someone that we shouldn't count out on, and he will surprise us this year.
I like that. I think I agree that I think that Michael Vick could be better. I think that they are being very quiet, and I think that we expect more chatter because of their status, because of who they are as former NFL guys that were standouts, and because of what Deion Sanders did. Even though Eddie George wasn't like that, I mean, he was sort of low key until he started winning. But I think that we expect, especially for their level of relevance in our sports culture, especially someone like Michael Vick, they would be louder. But Michael Vick and DeSean Jackson aren't Deion as far as their self-promotion. Not saying that in a bad way, but Deion was always really good at just getting himself out there and branding himself well, and that helped in the mystique of who he is. I think that when we look at Norfolk State, I think you were spot on. I think Israel Carter is going to be someone that's going to be really quality. Jaden Daniels, who was the starting quarterback for Dawson Odoms, he started in the MEAC SWAC Challenge because Otto Coons had a situation where he got suspended to start the year. Jaden Daniels, very athletic guy. I think that he probably would have thrived well under Vic, but he transferred. I think a name to look out for is James Wood III. He joined Norfolk State, and he's like that. Alabama Player of the Year. Like, he has FBS experience. Like he in high school, he threw for 3,071 passing yards, 32 passing touchdowns, 2,123 rushing yards, and 35 rushing touchdowns in the 2021-2022 season. So, I mean, I think that could be a person as well. I mean, I think that we're going to see a lot of quarterbacks join Norfolk State that are sort of in that Michael Vick type of mode. But I'm looking at maybe, James Wood. We're going to see what happens. I think maybe James Wood can get in there and make things happen. Now, on the Delaware State side, this is a huge story here, and we talked about it on Clutch Points. He just landed a 4-star Oregon standout. He landed a guy from Oregon. He has, I think 3 years eligibility. He was a redshirt at Oregon. He didn't play. Ryan Pelham, and Ryan Pelham, really good, was solid in high school. He has some transgressions off the field, and I know that's going to be a huge storyline around what occurred. And now I'll have our audience and our listeners go look, because I don't want to air out any dirty business. But HBCUs are about redemption, because HBCUs have given a lot of opportunities for us, for other folks to learn, to grow their lives, to grow as people, So I think that adding that level to it, plus the talent that he will be at wide receiver being molded by DeSean Jackson, I wonder how that's going to go. Because you have an Oregon wide receiver that is in the MEAC. And yes, there's been other FBS transfers, but a guy that legitimately was redshirting at Oregon with Dan Lanning last year is now at Delaware State. I think that this is an example of the power of having a celebrity coach, the power of having someone like Michael Vick or DeSean Jackson. I think this is the example of it, because a 4-star recruit, because he didn't have to go to Delaware State, because there are other FCS playoff contenders he could have gone to. Then you transfer back up to FBS. You could have maybe gone to like down at FIU with Willie Simmons. You didn't have to go to Delaware State, but you did, and you went there because DeSean Jackson is there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that could be a key. Now, this, like I said, this isn't basketball. He's only one player. But at the same time, that is something I think could be interesting, because you have a 4-star FBS Oregon talent like that was on the bench at Oregon starting for DeSean Jackson. That's crazy. So I think that Michael Vick ultimately will probably be better in his first season, because let's not forget, I think an X factor on that offense, Kavon King, he got a lot of honors at MEAC Media Day. He was going, remember, he was going crazy in that MEAC SWAC Challenge. We were talking about him last year. Kavon King is back. You know what I'm saying? So it's a couple guys that, of course, stuck around to play with Michael Vick. So I think that I'll use a basketball example for this. I think this is very apt. Okay, I think that Michael Vick in 2024 and Dawson Holmes getting fired, or 2025 and Dawson Holmes getting fired in 2024. I think it's going to be almost like the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors, when Mark Jackson was coaching with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and they weren't getting there. And then the first year, like, yeah, Steve Kerr get there, they go to the championship and then like win. I'm not saying this is what happened to Michael Vick, but I'm just saying that I feel like Dawson Odoms had a squad. He had a team he was building. It was just he couldn't get over the hump when it came to winning the games he was supposed to. Because that first year, he was winning them. But he didn't win the games he was supposed to. And that's why Michael Vick is there. I feel like Michael Vick got way more of a foundation than DeSean Jackson does. And I think he can win. So I think by the time we circle back to this, I think Michael Vick is going to be doing pretty good. So Arielle, I mean, that's it for us. I mean, that's it for our preview. I mean, I guess, we're just ready. 8-month layover for football, 4-month layover for us covering, college football and HBCUs. I think it's going to be a really fun season. I think this fall, I know just for me personally, I think it's going to be very fun. I got to give a shout out to my brother. My brother started college. He's going to Fort Valley, so I give a shout out. Yeah. I got to go. Yeah, it's crazy to be back integrated in that way. And seeing him, go there and be at my old stomping grounds. You got to give me advice, Arielle, because you've had sisters that's going to HBCUs. You got to give me advice. You know what I'm saying?
My sisters went to Clark, but like recruiting other Aggies, like seeing my mini me's or the people that I mentor actually go to A&T and then moving them in or like going back and seeing them graduate. I've done it 3 times. It's an amazing feeling. And then as an alum, it's kind of like, why are you building all this stuff? Why are robots delivering their food? Like, what is going on? But like, it's bittersweet seeing the campus progress without you and it getting better. And then also seeing people that you mentored or like with family, seeing them grow and go and getting the experience that you enjoyed and loved it's amazing. But it's also like, y'all didn't do this for me when I was there, but it's cool. It's cool. That's what my dues is for. Helping rebuild the community and making the community better, especially for our Black young men and women. So it's fine, but I think you're going to enjoy these next 4 years with your brother. It's going to be amazing. Stay in his ear, even though he's probably going to be like, Randall, I know. Just be with him, grow with him. He's going to be great. And I can't wait for the stories that you'll have for me that he's coming back with freshman year.
I appreciate it. And just know, he's going to say, Randall, I know, without me even opening my mouth. Tell you that much. I think it, Randall, I know. Like, I ain't said nothing yet. I just know like that you're going to say, so I know. So that's it. But it's going to be very fun to see that and experience that. And we don't have robots. A&T's real fancy. We don't have robots. But I'll tell you one thing I saw I was sort of upset at. Outside of the amphitheater, like they've done a lot of great campus beautification. But the one thing, they got a Chick-fil-A, they got like a kiosk now where you could just put in your order and then you just walk up and get it. I had to stand in them long lines, but they knew me though. They knew me. So it was crazy. It knew me.
And I haven't been in the new student center to see if A&T has the Chick-fil-A kiosk. So y'all might be up on one with that. Like we're still going up to the people, they taking our order and then they'll bring it to us.
But y'all got robots. Y'all got robots and 2 calves. So come on now. Like pretty soon, like the robots is gonna be like humans, like Terminators, like with AI, like at faces. Like that's what y'all gonna do. Like y'all engineering school.
A&T is doing too much for me. I need them kids. Them kids don't know what the dome is. Them kids, they don't tug down like everything, going back to the quad. I'm sick of them. Go back to the basics. That's what's wrong with these kids. Go back to the basics.
Oh, that's always funny. We talk about the kids. It's like literally, it ain't even been 10 years for us yet. It's been like what 6 years for me. It's been like what 4 for you? 5 or 4?
4, yeah, 5? Like 4.
So I mean, we was right there like a few years ago. Sometimes I want to go back. I'm like, can I trade places with my brother? Like, just let me go back. Let me do some stuff differently. Oh my God.
Yeah. Please get a semester without COVID. Actually, my whole senior year back without COVID. That would be great.
Yeah, and then also A&T in the MEAC, so it would have been a little bit better. Yeah.
Got you next week. We'll discuss that next week.
All right, listen, because we're on the same side. Because you got a former Fort Valley coach over there, so all right. But Arielle, great show on today. Where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at __.marterdayari or put me in the hot seat on X, formerly known as Twitter at @screery__. And you can also visit my website at ariel.kilgore.canva.com.